Hello my friends, I am literally about to share with you the secret to happiness. I know it sounds cliche, but hang with me. I think there's a 99.9% chance this could unlock something for you in happiness. Introduce you to my little man here. This is Rumi. He's a newborn, and the secret to happiness is actually found in the realization that this guy is not happy. He is not happy. Right now, he's not happy. He might look at you, he's chilled out, just having some hiccups. But my point is, he's not happy for the same reason that the secret to happiness works. Okay, so before I forget, if after watching this video, after you enjoy it and you want more perspectives like this, make sure you get my emails. They're called Creating Insights. I summarize these kind of long videos into really short emails and send them out a couple times a week. You can find the link somewhere, click it, sign up. Anyway, back to the secret of being happy. In very short, I'll say it in one sentence. The secret to being happy is to be happy with not feeling happy. Or another way of saying it, the secret to being happy is being happy to feel anything. Being happy to feel sad, being happy to feel angry, being happy to feel frustrated, being happy to feel down. The secret to happiness is being happy to feel any of those things. Now, let's parse this out. Let me dissect this for you a little bit so I can make it make sense, because right now it sounds like a contradiction or nonsensical or impossible. So, what do I mean by he's not happy? All right? You're like, he's not crying, he's happy. Nah. Happiness is a construct, it's a meaning, it's a concept. And that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist and it doesn't have a reality to it and an impact to it. It does. But it's a concept we're not born with. What we are born with is feelings. We have a feeling, and you can see on his face, he has expressions. When he's in pleasure, when he's breastfeeding, it's like just euphoria, right? And we all know what that feels like. And then, or at least some of us do. Anyway, focus. He's got fear. When there's a loud noise, I drop something. He's got the feeling of fear. He's got obviously the pain of sadness, of the pain of being hungry and that like crying, that ache, right? So he's got feelings. But happiness is not that. Happiness comes later when you start to get older and you have language and you have meaning and you can start to, happiness is not a feeling. Happiness is a relationship to yourself and how you feel. And that doesn't mean that there's not a feeling we have associated with happiness. I feel happy. Yes, we do. But we feel happy really means that we're experiencing joy, and it's our story about a good and positive feeling, right? And so it's a layer, and that doesn't make it not real. It's very real. And we as adults, as people, even as young kids, we know what it's like to feel happy. But it's something that we actually grow into. We understand through our learning and our meaning, our conceptualization of the world. And the reason this difference is important is because it lets us realize that there's a space between our feeling and our happiness. On a very tangible level, you have a pain, like a physical pain, right? Something hurts. And then there's the actual thoughts that you have about that pain. And that the thoughts you have, the resistance to it, I wish I didn't feel that, that's the suffering, right? So let's distinguish pain from suffering. Both real, but they're different. Suffering is created through our relationship to the pain, and the pain just is. It's in our nervous system. It's automatic. But those things are separate and different, but they also have a relationship to each other. There was a time where I had an excruciating pain down my arm and over here through my brachial plexus and into my arm. It was like a 10 out of 10 on like the medical scale. If somebody asked me what was it out of 10, it's like it's 10. I was waking up in the middle of the night swearing, "What the fuck, fuck, fuck!" It hurt so much I felt like my arm was on fire. And it took us a while to figure it out, but we finally found out that it was because there was a disc that was bulging in my neck and it was impinging on a nerve and it was creating inflammation and it was just brutal pain. And one of the things that I learned during that, I read a great book called Why Do We Hurt by a neurologist or neuroscientist. I don't remember his name, but Why Do We Hurt? A great small little spiral-bound book. And it helped me to see that, yes, the pain was real and there, but how I was thinking about it and how I was relating to it was creating my suffering. And here's the important part. If I adapted how I thought about it, I could start to actually lower the pain. So, of course, you can lower your suffering by thinking about it differently, right? Which is your resistance to the pain. But actually, through suffering less, the pain actually started to relax. And the experience of pain I learned how to reduce just by how I use my mind. And so, yes, pain emerges before consciousness, and then we have a conscious response to it, which we call suffering. But even our conscious relationship to the pain can impact and change the pain. So, happiness is like the opposite of suffering. It's a relationship to any feeling, we could say pain even. Happy to have smashed my thumb. Can you imagine that? Like you hit your thumb with a hammer, you can either be mad that your thumb hurts or you can be happy that it hurts, right? Sounds crazy, but somebody's like, you know somebody who's hit their thumb with a hammer and they're like, they're not upset about it. It's just like, yeah, it hurts, but I'm not unhappy, right? And so in that same way that the thumb hurts, the heart could hurt. You could feel the ache of sadness in your heart, the grieving of sadness. And you could resist that and you could say, I'm mad that I'm sad, or I'm sad that I'm sad. And then you're not happy because you're creating a relationship to the pain in your body, the internal pain, the ache of your heart, which is unhappiness, which is sadness. So this being sad about being sad about feeling sad. So we're talking about happiness as a being primarily, and we can be happy about feelings no matter what they are. I can be happy to be angry. I used to be angry at myself for feeling angry. Now I'm happy to be angry. I'm happy to feel anger, we should say. And what impact does that have? Well, first of all, having a feeling of anger no longer interrupts my happiness. I'm the happiest guy I know. Hence why I have the flag out there. Hence why we named our other son Asher, which is Hebrew for happy. We're not Jewish, but we love the name. I live happiness as a narrative. And so I don't suffer for my pain anymore. My feelings of sadness and anger, which still happen, are no longer the things that determine my story about my happiness. And so I don't suffer, I still have pain. I'm happy even if I have feelings that you wouldn't call happy feelings. So, am I saying that like I just live out the story of happy, but I still have all the feelings, so it's basically the same with a different story? Not exactly. Going back to the thing I was saying earlier about how my happiness, my not suffering in my thinking actually started to lessen the pain in my arm. It's the same thing. By having a story about my happiness, that it's uninterruptible, no matter what I'm feeling, I'm still happy. I'm happy to feel sad. I'm happy to feel anger. I'm happy to feel frustrated. I'm happy to feel down. What happens is me being happy to have those feelings means I'm not resisting those feelings, which means they can naturally arise and they can naturally fall down and fall away. And that's what feelings do. Feelings by themselves come and go. When they're sustained, it's because we're using our thinking, our relationship to that feeling, the meta level, to actually feed back into it and exacerbate it and keep it alive. So I would say depression is a relationship to sadness where you're sad about being sad. And then it starts to be like a loop and a cycle. And if you can just shift to being happy to be sad, to being happy to be angry, happy to feel, to be happy to feel angry, to be happy to feel sad, to be happy to feel down, all of a sudden, instantly you start to shift your feeling, but you also change the deeper feeling, the source of it in the first place. And so yes, I feel anger. Yes, I feel sadness, but it comes and it goes. And why does it come and it go? Because my being happy to feel those things makes them be able to go through their natural cycle all by themselves. The reason I'm making this video, my wife was just telling me about how she learned recently that it's important and healthy. She's reading a book by Mark Sisson, who wrote The Primal Blueprint. This is one of his newer books. And she said that it's healthy for the heart to feel the ache of sadness or to feel pain because it's a stress on the heart. And as long as that stress on the heart comes and goes, it's part of what keeps the heart strong. Just like we stress muscles in our body. If we didn't stress them, and then let them heal and relax, we wouldn't grow stronger, we wouldn't sustain our strength. What we don't want is chronic stress. We don't want chronic stress on our muscles. We don't want chronic stress on any part of our body. We don't want chronic stress on our heart, which is like the depression, sadness about being sad, chronically sad. That's not healthy, but we do want moments of stress and release. That's what creates strength. And that is what happens naturally when we're happy to feel anything. I am happy to feel anything. I declare that and I live that as an expression. That is the secret to happiness, to being happy, which leads to feeling happy. My name is John Patrick Morgan. This is Rumi. As I said, my son's name is Asher. That means happy. This is the front of our house. I put that flag there as a reminder that I'm always happy. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling. That's why I don't have to take it down if I feel angry, feel sad, feel mad. I like to look at it when I don't feel happy to remind me that I can still be happy. I love you. Thank you for listening. If you'd like more of this, subscribe, hit the like, share with your friends. Bye for now.